Located in western Portugal on the estuary of Tagus River, Lisbon is the westernmost capital city in continental Europe and the second oldest European capital city after Athens. Established by pre-Celtic tribes and leader Felician, Julius Caesar made it a municipality called Felicitas Julia. Today, Lisbon is recognized as an alpha-level global city because of its importance in finance, commerce, fashion, media, education, and tourism, as well as serving as the country's main port, the largest city and commercial, political, and tourist center. With a population of 3 million in its metropolitan area, I definitely have no excuse not to find my dream soulmate. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lisbon. I'm going to come and grab my luggage under the belt. Oh, here I go. Should have drank a little bit more coffee to be more awake. From this particular bus station, you can easily get down to the city center. If you can avoid the Lisbon Oriente bus station, avoid it. This one, ECT is a lot more close. With that being said, let's get going. Thank you.
Hey.
All right.
Good night.
Bye-bye. So once again, given the fact that I have so much filming gear, I'm just going to pay €6 to get a ride sharing down to Lisbon city center. Honestly, if you don't have this much equipment, go for the metro ride or the bus ride, but hey, you know what? I think I can treat myself once in a blue zone. Alright, let's get going. Buckle up. It is, yes. Buckle up, you. Good morning. So, if you are clueless what to do here in Lisbon, don't worry, we're on the same boat. This trip wasn't probably planned in the first place. Okay, first on, let's talk about getting around. Now, most of the historical Lisbon is walkable by foot, but there's also scooters that you can rent, pretty expensive. I say skip it. There's also basically those tuk-tuk that you can actually rent. They charge per hour as well. You get those guys right here. Historical trams here in Lisbon. And of course, all the other public transportations, the bus and the metros and so on. One interesting idea is buying a Lisbon card, which gives you unlimited ride on the public transportation within the city and the trains to the nearby city of Senhora, along with free access to 39 government-run museums, monasteries, and other attractions. They are available for 24, 48, and 72 hours. If you'd like to explore the old town on foot but don't want to plan, I got you covered. If you really don't want to plan yourself, you can also come to the main square here and basically join a free tour group. Of course, nothing is free. Tour guides need to make a living, and if you want to be generous, the average tips here is 15 to 20 euros, but it's whatever you want to give. Let's start our adventure at the heart of downtown. The Restaurante Square is a major landmark dedicated to restoration of the independence of Portugal in 1640. The obelisks in the middle of the square, named the Monument to the Restored, commemorate victory in the Portuguese Restoration War and carries the names and dates of the battle between Spain and Portugal from 1640 to 1668. It ended with the end of the Spanish rule over Portugal, which had begun in 1581. The monument is made from limestone and erected in 1886 and stands 30 meters in height, and on the north and the south side each were bronze statues representing independence. Just 400 meters away marks the very center of Lisbon and the most liveliest. Known as Rocio Square, this site has been a popular place for people to meet since the Middle Ages. In the center sits a column of Pedro IV of Portugal, known as a soldier king. At the base of the pillar are 4 female figures that represent kings' various qualities: justice, wisdom, strength, and moderation. Many prominent features featuring the square today were established in the 19th centuries. On the either side of the square are two baroque fountains imported from France. Its French Oriental style classic tastes include elements that are related to sea, fish, shell, cables, anchors, children, god, and mermaid. Next to Rocio Square is where you can put your Lisbon car to work. The Santa Justa Elevator is one of the city's most famous sites and has amazing view from the top, making it one of the city's busiest tourist attractions. After I think a half an hour wait, good things are worth waiting for, and I hope it's great. Oh my god, look at that. Very historical. So come, let's go. Oh. Taking advantage of it, my first time using a Lisbon car. There you go! The 19th century industrial airlift transport passengers to 45 meters. The hills of Lisbon has always presented a problem for travel between the lower street of the main Baixa and the higher Barra Alto district. In order to facilitate the movement between the two, the civil and military engineer Roberto Almenio presented a project to the Lisbon Municipal Council in 1874 and inaugurated as one of the city's transportation systems in July 10, 1902, and was called the Carmo Lift. Lisbon's inhabitant was so excited to try this novelty that on the first day, 3,000 tickets were sold. Today, it's primarily used by tourists. The view is nice from the observation deck, but not spectacular. But we are going somewhere that is. Once again, we are going to put our Lisbon car to work by hitching a ride. I said it before, Portugal's full of slopes, and trust me, you need to keep your hands on this, because or else, ooh. I don't know if the driver will perform CPR on you. I prefer mine to be passionate CPR benefits. The Lisbon system of trams was first entered into service on November 17, 1873, and comprised of 6 lines. There were 27 lines at its peak in 1959, but later going into decline. Currently there are 31 kilometers, 5 different routes, and 58 trams, of which 40 are vintage streetcars. The heritage tram are small, nostalgic, and emblematic symbol of Lisbon. Here's a trick, you can also open up the windows. It's you get a lot better view. Look at this. I'm going to turn it around. But here's a warning. Do not put your head out the windows unless you have life insurance. But that's still no, don't do that. With that being said, enjoy the ride. The most iconic tram is Route 28. It's 7 kilometers. The wooden tram links Barra Alto to St. George Castle. Another iconic route is number 12, only 4 kilometers in length. This tram route is the shortest and taking only 20 minutes to complete a clockwise loop around the popular tourist district of Baixa and Alfama. Look like we got company. There's another tram behind me. Alright. This was quite a ride, is it? Do you agree with me? Now, let's go somewhere with a fantastic... He's gonna be famous too. I owe him loyalties after this. But that being said, let's go to our first vantage point. Up the hill it is, my dear friends. So, almost there. 5 minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to San Francisco. I'm just joking. It's Lisbon. That's not the Golden Gate Bridge. But yeah, this is one of the viewpoints that's very popular, and you basically get to see the advantage of both the historical town and a little about the new part of the city, which is over on that side. So with that being said, let's sit back, relax, enjoy the view. The viewpoint of the Lady of the Mount is one of Lisbon's major landmarks located on top of the Lisbon's tallest hill. The name derived from a glass-encased image of a virgin that stands in front of the charming white chapel dedicated to Saint Jens, a bishop martyr in the Roman times. It's also one of the calmest places to look at the city. It's stunning panoramic view. So next up, after you enjoy your view, okay, look at that, a steep slope, 5 minutes walk. not so bad. So I'm not going to bombard you with viewpoint after viewpoint because honestly, eventually you get bored. So this probably be the last one. The reason I'm showing this one is this is in a lower altitude. It means that you get a different vantage point. The Greca viewpoint is also on the Lisbon's Tram route number 28. Located on the south side of St. Andre's Hill, this shaded terrace offers a panoramic view of the historic center. The viewpoint was named after one of the city's oldest churches, originally built in 1271. The Baroque architecture dates from post-1755 until the earthquake reconstruction, and the interior is decorated with grisaille paintings and gilded woodworks. It also houses an image of Christ carrying the cross, which is taken from the street in the annual Easter-time procession. A tradition since 1587, the Jeronimos convent became a military barrack in the 19th century, but opened to the public for the first time in 2017. Alright, so let's go to our, or should I say, let's hike to our next attraction. Hope you enjoy the music. Remember, I said this over and over again, support the local performers. They are hardworking, you know, it's not easy to perform on the street, you know. I don't know if I can do that, but with that being said, let's get going. I'm actually heading off to the St. George's Castle. But look, their viewpoint, there's so many, there's absolutely too many, so I'm not even gonna bother to stop. Let's keep moving. It is nice though, don't get me wrong. If you like it, stay behind, enjoy it, but we don't have that much time. Alright, we shall be there soon, boys and girls. Let's get going. Sadly, the Lisbon card gives you no discounts at the Castle St. George. Given I only have one day here, I think I'm going to skip it, but please, if you're willing to spend the 15 euros, go for it. It looks really, really spectacular actually. But I got it from the air. Yeah, I'm going to show off my lovely aerial photography skill by illustrating a little history of this castle with my impressive camera skills. Situated on the city's highest hill, the Sao Jorge Castle is one of Lisbon's most distinctive monuments. The oldest known fortification at this spot dates from 2nd century BC, although some of the remains found here dates as back as 6th century BC. The castle itself was founded in 10th and the 11th century, when Lisbon was an important Moorish port. In 1147, the first king of Portugal, Dom Alfonso Herenes, captured both the castle and the city from the Moors. The castle enjoyed the most important period between 13th and the 14th century. It was here in the 16th century that King Dom Manuel I received the Vasco da Gama after his sea voyage to India, and the first Portuguese theater play written by Gael Vicente was performed to mark the birth of the King Dom Jael III. A lot of you guys probably asked me, like, what's the most authentic historical district in Lisbon? Well, this is it. This is Alfama, and this is pretty much as authentic as it can get, with streets. That's actually, those ones are very old style. Many of them hasn't been updated in hundreds of years. Although I didn't get to see the old castle, I did get a chance to roam along the Alfama district. It was settled as back as the Iron Age, and later occupied by Romans, Visigoths, and other Germanic tribes, before becoming the heart of Moorish Lisbon. With the conquest of the city by the Portuguese first king in 1147, the Moors was either killed in the siege or segregated. Following the century, Alfama became the home to the upper class as well as the Jewish quarter, until the Jews was expelled altogether with all other non-Christians in 1497. As Lisbon expanded, the wealthy residents moved out, leaving the Alfama to the fishing community. Thanks to its dense bedrock foundation, it was practically the only neighborhood that wasn't greatly affected by the disastrous 1755 earthquake, and preserving the fate of many buildings seen here in this area today. Alright, I am back on the tram. Oh my goodness. Full party ahead. Everyone's here. I hope we have enough beer for everyone. I mean cold beers. It has to be cold. Alright, with that being said, hold on tight. We got hills to climb or hills to ride. Oh! I wonder what's everyone doing. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do you know why people are throwing coins at this statue?
The amount of tries the coins have to go in the on the book.
On the
on the
book.
book.
Okay, what do I win if it lands on the book?
Apparently
Your love,
true love.
love of life.
Love, yeah.
Love of my
Because
life.
Saint Anthony is the patron saint of finding.
Do I have any coins on me? Oh no. Need to get changed.
You know, I have a dime if you want. I think it's hard, but
Alright. Let's see what I can do. If I find the love of my life, you'll be the best man.
I can't wait.
Wish me luck on this one. With that being said, this is gonna be hard. Ah!
It touched the book. It touched the book.
Alright, it touched the book. I might not have got it, but I wish you all the best of luck to find the love of your life here in Portugal. Built on the site where St. Anthony was born in 1195, this church is dedicated to a saint known as the Matchmaker and the patron saint for recovery of lost items. Given I haven't got any matches on Tinder in Portugal and needed to recover my hope in finding the love of my life, I guess this is a perfect place to come and pray. Please wish me luck, and ladies, feel free to check me out on Tinder. The birth name of St. Anthony is Fernando de Bojos, and the site of his family house of his birth was turned into a small chapel in the 15th centuries. This early building from which nothing remains. The current church dates from 1757 due to the post-1755 earthquake reconstruction. The facade combines a Baroque and neoclassical style, as does the interior, which is featured painting by the 18th century artist Pedro Alexandre de Carvalho. There's actually downstairs as well. On May 12, 1982, Pope John Paul II visited the church and inaugurated the statue of the St. Anthony in a square in front of the church and prayed in this very crypt, which marks the spot where the saint was born. The Lisbon card does not work here as well. You do get like €1 discount. If you want to go in, it's €4. So I'm gonna let you use a discretion rather to enjoy this cathedral. I did want to take a sneak peek. It's pretty grand, but it doesn't look anything super spectacular. Behind the St. Anthony's is a cathedral of Lisbon dedicated to the Mother of God. Just like hundreds of other buildings, it is the most significant monument in the country due to its historical, religious, and artistic value. Its construction began in 1147 when the first king of Portugal, Alfonso Henriques, reconquered the city from the Moors. It was built on a Muslim mosque, which in turn, as the archaeological excavation confirmed, had been built on the previous Visigothic Christian temple. Given there's hundreds of other churches in the city, I'll just skip it. After all, I'm not too sure if Jesus will approve the holy idea that I swipe my credit card just to go in and pray. So I basically got off at one stop and come over to here. Look at that. Nice arch. And as far as I know, we're heading that way. The triumphant arch of Ruta Augusta is located in the northern end of the commercial square by Tagus River. The 19th century arch is dedicated to Lisbon's recovery from the destruction of the 1755 earthquake. The arch was officially opened in 1875 and adorned with various statues of historical figures. Following the restoration in 2013, it now gives a visitor a chance to visit the rooftop gazebo on top of the monument, with a breathtaking panoramic view across the city, including various downtown squares, cathedrals, and Tagilis River. This is the commercial square, one of the largest town square here in the city of Lisbon. And this used to be home to the Royal Palace that was destroyed in the earthquake of 1755. Today is home to many of the government buildings, along with a statue to King Jose I, right in the middle of the square. The square is one of the most beautiful in all of Europe, originally called the Royal Yard prior to the Great Earthquake. The Royal Palace had been set on the western side of the square since the 16th centuries, when King Manuel transferred the court down from the Castle of St. Jorge. In 1580, Felipe I of Portugal ordered a building of a new square, but was destroyed by the Great Earthquake. The new square was renamed the Commercial Square to promote the new social order, the trading, financial, and bourgeois classes that contributed so much to the rebuilding of the city. In a geometric center of the square facing the river, there is a statue of King Jose I, mounted on his horse Gentel, the work of sculptor Machado de Castro. It was unveiled on June 6, 1775, the king's birthday. He discreetly viewed the event from one of the windows in the customs building. The celebration lasted 3 days and included a gigantic banquet for all people of Lisbon. The square opens southward onto the huge Tagus River. Prior to the era of air travel, this was Lisbon's great reception hall for visitors arriving by sea, the same dock for the king and head of states that would embark when visiting Portugal. Today, on the piers, there are 2 columns and adjacent marble stairs that once used as entry point by the foreign dignitaries still remain standing. One of those figures was Queen Elizabeth II, who arrived in 1957 in Portugal and made her way into Lisbon through these 2 columns. I'm actually on the normal tram and heading out to one of the attractions that's closed pretty soon, so I hope I can make it. Apparently it's very fantastic. The tram here is pretty clean, but here's one thing, not so on time, they lose points on that one. With that being said, sit back, relax, enjoy your ride. One of my favorite cities is San Francisco, and this bridge right here, my goodness, reminds me of SF. They call it the world's most beautiful bridge. Let's have a look. Now this is going to be really an interesting experience because the lift is not working. To take the stairs. With that being said, they say to follow the arrow. Oh my goodness. So this elevator doesn't take you all the way up. It takes you only to the first floor, and then you know what I'm talking about. With that being said, let's get going. Okay, come on, let's go. Originally named after the former Prime Minister and dictator Salazar when it was inaugurated in 1966. This bridge changed its name after 1974 revolution and it happened on April 25th. The bridge connects the city of Lisbon and the municipality of Almada on the left, south bank of Tagus River. While it might look like a Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, it was in fact built by an American company, inspired by the Bay Bridge in the same city. For the best view of the bridge, get off at the Ponte Docks Garden. Get your energy drinks and have the Lisbon car ready. We are going to get high up. Alright. Oh my goodness. Holy smoke. I almost thought this is glass floor. So, yeah, I almost thought this was like glass floor, but it's not. It's just a mirror. Let the height begin. Alright. Its height from the water to the upper platform is over 70 meters. So, don't you laugh at my struggles, or else I'll make sure to haunt you on Facebook. Man, this is like... Holy smoke! getting to me. Oh, okay. This is the 19th floor. And I see light. And I'll kind of look at that. Here we go. Now this is where you get a nice view of high above. Check this out. And glass floors, yes. The structure carries trains and cars and has a toll for the northbound route only. Around 150,000 cars and over 150 trains cross the bridge daily on the 2 rail tracks and 6 car lanes. After sunset, it was getting dark really fast, but I'm not ready to head home just yet. I'm going to pray for all of you audience going to watch more of my shows and go far on your own. I'm going to pray with Jesus, a big one. You can either take the ferry to the south bank to Alfama or a bus across the April 25th bridge to the south bank to meet this tall Jesus. No kidding. I didn't realize he's this tall and dominates the skyline of the south side of Tigris River. He must be popular with the ladies. I was told I can take the lift to the heaven. I mean, not quite. 82 meters high, if I can pay. Behind me is a gigantic statue of the Christ. And yes, it's actually inspired by the statue of the Christ in Rio de Janeiro. This was built in 1959 and its official name is the Christ the King. It's pretty remarkable how tall it is. You can actually go up to the platform. It is not free, but it's not too expensive either. It is about €8. Completed in 1959, 7 years after the work began. The initial inspiration came after a cardinal parish of Lisbon had visited Rio de Janeiro in 1934 and had seen the new Christ the Redeemer monument there. Ultimately, through the monument was to give thanks to God for largely sparing Portugal from the devastation of World War II. The Catholic statue is dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ overlooking the city of Lisbon, and the statue itself measured impressively 30 meters in height. Marginally smaller than the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. 2 of the mighty legs of the pedestal contains an elevator which takes a visitor up to the viewing platform at the Christ's feet. But if you prefer to stay grounded, there's a garden and a visitor center. I'm such a sucker for street food. I decided to try the, I think it's chestnut. No, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Okay, let's eat. Let's see how this is actually. See this right here? Yes, after an entire day of walking, I'm hungry and couldn't even remember the name of this nut. But it's roasted chestnut, and these stalls are very popular throughout Lisbon. Now, I know we need some real food. There's one perfect place to spice things up. Now by now you probably realized I haven't shown any public parks for Lisbon. The reason is it's just not that interesting. But I'm going to show at least one, which is this one right behind me. It's actually Park Martin Morris. I hope my pronunciation is correct. Now, it's actually a very, very beautiful park, very big, more like a square. Now, here's the thing. There's another reason I'm actually showcasing this park. is right across from it. There's a mall. The nickname is Portugal's little Chinatown. The whole street filled with different kind of cuisine, from Japanese to Japanese to Korean. There's also a supermarket as well. With that being said, let's go and do some shopping and then grab a bite if I'm not able to cook on my own. I suspect that will be the case. Yes, these are mochi cake. It's true, Chinese people are taking over the world, and even here in Portugal. With that being said, let's have a look and then we'll go and grab a bite. So on the right side, you got rice, Chinese staple, and my favorite thing is instant noodles. And I can actually recognize some of these brands. Honestly, that's really cool. They have Chinese bun, and oh my, this is my favorite here. This is sesame seed balls. My favorite. I grew up eating this kind of stuff. That's why I got pregnant down there. Couldn't lose any weight. Got my shopping done. I will tell you what I got after I eat, because you know what? This is more for backups. But my immediate needs is actually grabbing a bite right now, right here. And look what we got. We got sushi house, and as well Chinese dim sum, things like that. There's also pho. So it's really cool actually, very multicultural here, so it's not just Chinese.
It's for you, sir.
Now as you know, I do have really high standards for Asian food because I am Asian. So, but this looks fabulous. I'm hungry. It's hard enough to film, but filming one hand, eating another hand, man. So with that being said, let's try it out. First, let's try out the soup. The broth itself is actually really creamy, so I give them credit for that. There's quite a bit of meat. I believe these are pork, and there's some peanuts as well. There's an egg on it. How is a noodle standing up? Definitely ramen. It's actually pretty decent. Now, given the fact that it's Portugal with very limited ingredients that's available, I'm gonna have to give this 9 out of 10. It's actually really good. With that being said, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I want to make sure I'm maximizing my utilities of the Lisbon car, even at this hour. Here you go. We are going high up again. This time, the old-fashioned way. Remember I said I'm going to try something? Here you go. You got it. And you know what? I get to sit in the conductor's seat as well. So I am actually going to be in control of this train, I think. It's going, look at this. The Lisbon's iconic funiculars, also referred as the elevator or lift, introduced in the late 19th and the early 20th century. The funicular made the city's hill a little bit more manageable. Originally ran on water but now powered by electricity, and used to be brown, but it has been painted iconic yellow since the 1930s. There are currently 3 old funiculars, and I'm on the Gloria funicular that connects the Restored Square to the Bar Alto. It also stopped at the final stop of the night, St. Pedro de Alcântara viewpoint. In service since October 24, 1885, this funicular passed by a street art gallery. The ride is approximately 275 meters and 6 minutes. But we have arrived, and I'll welcome you to the St. Pedro de Alcântara viewpoint. To my surprise, there's only actually one stop, and it's stop at the top of the hill. As you probably know, Lisbon is a city built on many hills, many in fact. And that brings us to many viewpoints. This is probably the best viewpoint after dark. So this is actually one of the vantage points you can come and check out at night. Apparently it's the best, so with that being said, let's go and have a look. I see water fountains, I see statues, I do hear people playing their musical talent. Now let's check out the view. This urban park was built over the free water aqueducts in 1864, and an ornamental fountain brought from the Bamposta Palace. It offers benches to sit and relax and a cafe with outdoor seatings. After this much hiking, it's now time to take a deep breath in this garden and enjoy the best evening skylines. The view is spectacular during the day, and at night, when the hills illuminated below, it's even better. But if you're staying in Lisbon for multiple days, drop for a sunset. Once again, there's one message I'm going to tell you. Like a broken record. I always urge you to support the local street performers. They work hard. If you don't support them, they will never be around. With that being said, I hope you sit back, relax, enjoy this amazing talent, and at the same time, make some change. I don't have too much change, but I'm making some change tonight. With that being said, let's do that. This is how I ended my night, but next morning I'm going to start with another prayer again. This time at the Jeronimos Monastery, a UNESCO declared World Heritage Site since 1983. If you're hoping it will be part of the Lisbon card, your prayer is answered. That is the monastery! And yes, I'm taking the most out of my Lisbon card. The monastery is only 2.5 kilometers from the April 25th Bridge Pillar 7 Experience Center. Only 15 minutes bus ride or 30 minutes on foot. If you want to save time, visit them one after another. Facing the monastery is an Empire Square Garden, the remain of the 1940 Portuguese War exhibition, which commemorate the 800th anniversary of independence of Portugal and the 300th anniversary of the Restoration. The garden composed of a combination of 32 coat of arms, whose design of the bushes and flowers represent the former empire provinces and 4 perpetual ponds. Adjacent to the garden is a monument called the Monument of the Discoveries. Conceived in 1939, the monument celebrates the Portuguese Age of Discovery and are commonly referred to as the Age of Exploration during the 15th and the 16th century. The structure is appropriately located along the river whose ship departed to explore and trade with India and Orient during the Golden Ages. So here's the deal. To come into the church is free, and then when you exit the church, then you go to the monastery and you can use your Lisbon card. With that being said, let's check out this spectacular, beautiful church. People, no one likes me, I think. I'm gonna make lots of friends today. The Jeronimos Monastery complex comprise includes the Santa Maria Church of Belém, inaugurated as a resting place for the House of Aziz member in 1495. Its uniqueness lies with a single nave that is held up by 6 beautiful sculpted columns and withstood the 1755 earthquake. The chapel also includes an exquisite 16th and 17th century altar with the Manueline carvings and contains the tomb of King Manuel I, King Jael III, and Vasco da Gama. If you got time, there's also a small cloister, but I'm gonna get moving. After you come out from the church, you go to the line right here, and then you'll be let in. So just make sure you have your tickets ready. Man, I'm a little bit nervous because this place looks humongous. Oh my god, look at this. Alright, wow. Holy smoke. The St. Jerome Monastery is a former monastery for the Order of St. Jerome. However, in the 16th century, it became the necropolis for the Portuguese loyal dynasty of Abazi. In 1833, it actually became secularized by a state decree, and the ownership was transferred to the Real Casa Lisbona. The Jeronimos Monastery replaced a church formerly existed on the same site, dedicated to Santa Maria de Belen, and where monks of Military Religious Order of Christ provided assistance to the seafarer in transit. The monastery was paid for with a profit made in spice trade with the East, and became the home to the monks of the Order of St. Jerome, who prayed for the king's soul and responsible for the recipe of the famous custard tarts. The construction of the monastery and the church began on January 6, 1501, and took over 100 years to complete. King Manuel originally funded the project with the money obtained from a 5% tax on commerce from Africa and Orient. The influx of such riches, the architecture was not limited to small-scale plans, and also had redirected resources from other monasteries to Belen. The architecture were made from golden limestone. The structure is a classic example of Portuguese Gothic manual architecture and glorified the age of discovery, including showcasing the Portugal's power at sea and its contact with the distant land. Corals, sea monsters, and ropes are sculpted in the magnificent cloisters. The monastery faces a landscape garden, the Empire Square. The paved with a traditional Portuguese cobblestone designs that here includes armillary spears and the sign of the zodiac. Now, if you're a monk, then you know what? You're gonna be here forever. Once you're in, you ain't going out. For me, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, so please send me some Uber Eats. I'm right here waiting for my food.